But Governor, thank you. Mr. Heineman, thank you. Appreciate the ongoing partnership with EPR and with the Henrys and the Schlitterbahn. Really a great partnership around. On behalf of the Unified Government Commission, and including Commissioners Walters and Maddox and Philbrook, as well as our Administrator Doug Bach, we've been committed to bringing world-class destination tourism to Kansas City, Kansas. And Kansas City, Kansas has already built a development out west that is the #1 tourist attraction, not only in the state, but in the region. And when Cerner came with a proposal to build 2 new office towers and bring 4,000 high-quality jobs, and to bring a world-class, state-of-the-art soccer facility, and to bring soccer opportunities into the urban core with the futsal program, which is really on the cutting edge in this country in terms of young people playing and being active in the sport of soccer, and to bring a tournament center, which would do 2 things. One, it would give the young people a place to compete and to raise the level of soccer in our region, but also it would drive additional people to our community and have them have an opportunity to see all the benefits and all the amenities here in Kansas City, Kansas. With this new component, which we had not contemplated originally, of U.S. soccer coming in, raises the whole package to another level. It also brings our soccer fields for the tournaments closer to the Legends. Being adjacent to these fields really helps young people have something to which to aspire. I remember when I played on my soccer career was short-lived. I was 5, and it's really where it was the buzzing bees chasing the ball all at the same time. There really weren't positions or anything. And our coach really didn't know much about soccer, and really there was not much to aspire towards in the soccer world in the but now soccer is a sport that it's the world's game, it's the beautiful game, it's growing in this country, and young people now have something to which to aspire. They have world-class Major League Soccer right here in Kansas City, Kansas. They have a tournament fields that they can play, and they can look across and see the National Training Center and say, I want to represent this community, I want to represent this country in winning the World Cup. And having that opportunity to bring this world-class asset to Kansas City, Kansas is terrific. And I want to thank Cerner and Sporting for your ongoing partnership, for the state, for everyone, all the team that's brought this together. This is going to raise the caliber for our whole community to another level. And I want to echo what you said, Governor. The sports are a window. If you ask any university about the impact of their sports programs on enrollment, it's huge. Sports success drives enrollment at universities. Sports success drives the profile for our entire community and for our region. And having the success of this sporting facility here and now U.S. Soccer continues to raise the profile of our community and helps continue the transformation of Kansas City, Kansas. So thank you very much.
Looking back at what this area was in 1997, when MLS was a year old, when this was a collection of farmhouses and dirt roads, isn't it sort of a uniquely maybe American story where 2 disparate sports with disparate demographics, stock car racing and MLS, have sort of partnered and piggybacked on each other to get to this point where now U.S. Soccer is having a facility being built here?
I don't know that you could find another one in America like this, let alone maybe anywhere around anywhere. This is an unusual partnership, but it's worked, and it's worked very well, and it's going to work well into the future.
I would say, too, we didn't just have farmhouses. We did have a gas station and a Kentucky Fried. But to see with the unification of government and the development that has come with this world-class destination, from that retail to a site that generates over $650 million annually in sales and represents 10% of the total valuation of our county, this has given us a tool not only to continue to attract world-class amenities, because I believe that if it hadn't been for the racetrack and for the Legends and the other development with Nebraska Furniture Mart, et cetera, Cerner might not have been interested in this area, and Sporting might not have wanted to build here. But it's because of the synergy with the T-bones and all the different things we have in this area that has made it a destination site, not only for tourists, but for other businesses, and we hope to continue that into the future.
I think the thing that I'd say about it, and what we always talk about Sporting Park, and obviously Sporting Park has won many awards, and it's a beautiful building, but the thing to me that's the most beautiful part of Sporting Park are the people that fill it. And I think you could say that about Village West broadly. The great thing about Kansas Cityans is they believe in themselves and they embrace local, and they've built this. I mean, they've made this happen. I mean, the fact that we as business owners get to kind of hang some flowers on it is a cool thing, but it's Kansas Cityans that make this place so special. And the fact that now, because of what they've done here in the stadium, it gives us the opportunity and the ability to go out and attract U.S. Soccer to the location. That's just incredible. That's an amazing thing. So I'm going to be happy for the little 8-year-olds and 10-year-olds and 15-year-olds that get to come out and see the national team train, whether it's the men, it's the women, it's the youth, whatever the heck it is. What an awesome opportunity that's going to be. And the teams in residence, that's going to be a really special opportunity, I think, for people. So.
What obstacles remain for this to happen, and when do you foresee construction starting on this project?
Well, the biggest thing that we want to do is have it open for the Copa America in 2016. We'd love to be a major training site for teams in 2016, not only the U.S., but, I think we'd like to talk to Brazil and Argentina and, Chile and some of those and see if we can have them in residence. So that will probably mean that we'll start moving dirt this fall. To be very candid with you, we haven't done a ton of design yet, and the reason we haven't is because I think we want to try to have best-in-class partners with a lot of the attributes inside of this thing. From a sports science perspective, we want this to be the most advanced facility in the United States. And, we don't necessarily have the acumen to do that today, so we're going to have to do that through partners. So that's what we'll work in earnest now, is making sure that we do have kind of all those best-in-breed partners to make this truly a success and the facility we want. But yeah, absolutely having it open by 2016 for Copa America.
Rob, can you just also clarify that the U.S. Soccer name now seems attached to this? I'm not sure that was the case earlier, but what's the meaning of that and their own endorsement, further endorsement?
Well, I mean, it means everything. And yeah, I mean, originally this was just going to be a youth complex, and going after U.S. Soccer. I think it's two things. I mean, the piece that I don't want to be overlooked around U.S. Soccer in this whole thing is the coaching education piece. And I think you need to look no further than the World Cup, this past World Cup. And basically the blueprint that Germany put out there was they had a unified vertical approach to how they were going to go after the game. And a huge foundation infrastructure piece of that is the coaching education. And for us to have that here in Kansas City, not only from an economic development perspective is it going to be fantastic, but just having that curriculum here is going to be great. Having the national team here obviously will be very special, and I think the facility will have the sorts of qualities and attributes that'll make it very tough for them to not be here. I can't imagine the January camp's probably going to happen in Kansas City a lot for obvious reasons, but that's probably the one exception from our perspective. So I guess I'd say from a sports property perspective right now, who's got a more positive trend in this country, regardless of sports, than U.S. Soccer? I think the trend's rising, and the great thing is we got two of the best players in U.S. Soccer that play here every night. So that's a really good additive feature as well.
You talked about when, but how in terms of funding for this and how will it be funded?
Yeah, you guys want me to take that? Mary, you want to take it? I'm happy to.
Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Star Bond project. A Star Bond project that, obviously we'll have to run that process through both the city and state approvals. That'll, probably take, I suppose, the next 90 days. John, is that a fair estimate? But again, simultaneous to that, we'll be doing design so we can get going on this thing. I don't think we anticipate there being a huge problem with this process. It's a great project. It's a kind of a great situation and setting that I think we're walking into. So I think we're satisfied enough to make this announcement today and feel very confident that this is going to go forward.
If I could add on that, we've been apprised of the project, the mayor's office, UG government, and previously to this mayor and myself for the last 14, 16 months. And everybody's been talking about this and wanting this to happen. And the Star Bonds is the financing approach to it. It's not going to be any increase in sales tax. That's where you plow your sales tax back in to it. And I don't anticipate there being any difficulty with that moving forward, at least from our level, and the mayor can speak from the city.
Well, the Star Bonds was really an innovative economic development tool that the state developed a number of years ago, about 15 years ago. And Kansas City, Kansas was the first community really to leverage that tool in any meaningful way. And that has allowed it, because it's such a cutting edge and innovative economic development tool, it's allowed us to to bring world-class amenities here. And so continuing to leverage that moving forward is a goal that we have, and that partnership with the state is fundamental to it. And so it's a state-local partnership that allows that to move forward. And that's worked beautifully the last 15 years, and I hope it will continue to work for the next 15 years.
Two questions. First, is legislative approval necessary for the Star Bond approval? And the second question is this hotel the hotel that the UG was looking for in connection with the Hollywood Casino and Convention Center?
I'll take the first one. This does not require legislative approval, at least at the state level. That the Star Bond legislation's set. There are limits, but we're all working within those. And as far as I know from most legislators, this is a fabulously successful Star Bond project in this area. But no legislative approval is needed at the state level.
Our commissioners obviously will vet the development agreement fully and vote on it as a body. I just noticed Commissioner Kane is here as well. I didn't see you earlier, but yeah, we'll fully vet this. In terms of the hotel, no, the casino is building their own hotel attached to their facility, and certainly we're working on that. But there's a lot of interest in hoteliers because of the number of visitors that we have, and we have a lot of economy hotels right now, and what we don't have are the flagship hotels, and we're working right now to bring those in. The casino hotel will certainly be a flagship, and the one associated with this will be that as well. So we're really looking forward to that. But no, it'll be another hotel, and that's another good sign for Kansas City, Kansas.
In regards with the funding and Star Bond, how much did having a place like Schlitterbahn in the area impact your decision to make it in this area here?
Well, I mean, I think just the general proximity to the sporting park is an added benefit, and obviously having an established Star Bond district for us to enter was hugely helpful, and then having a great partner to work with. You know, at the end of the day, the partnership that we were able to structure with the Henrys and with David is one that works really well for us. So that was having a willing partner with ground approximate to sporting park works out quite well.
Well, we have to give credit to Schlitterbahn as well. They started their project right before the economic crash and where a lot of funding went away. And their family sustained that project and the build out of the water park from their own funds. And so that was developed as a 400-acre development, and Schlitterbahn was to be a component of it. And so we've got to give the Schlitterbahn group a lot of credit for persevering. They could have folded and walked away. They stuck with the project, stuck with the community, continued the build out, and then have been working and brought in EPR to continue now that we're moving through the recession, though we are not out of it. Though we're moving through it, we are having new opportunities now to develop that acreage. And so it was always designed as destination. It was always designed to be complementary to Village West. And to have a project of this caliber on it is the icing on the cake. It's really terrific.
Hi there. Can I get a big picture comment about maybe outside of the soccer fan realm, how this economic impact exceeding $1 billion will help the everyday average Kansas City, Kansas Joe?
It's gonna help people with a lot of jobs. You bring $1 billion in, that creates a lot of jobs and economic opportunities for individuals. You put that bright of a light on a place, it's going to attract more people into it. So you get that storefront shining that brightly. It's going to attract more opportunities into the area. I think you're going to see a substantial near-term impact in the area, obviously on construction jobs and design jobs and things that go with it. But longer term, I think the potential on this could exceed the number that's been put down here because of the nature of this. This is a very unusual project. I do ribbon cuttings every week, fortunately, because things have been growing nicely. But this is a really unusual one that has the potential to skyrocket. This didn't just take us to the next level, it took us the next 3 levels up.
Well, and you also think about the number of jobs. and again, I don't have the employment numbers for our gas station in Kentucky Fried, but we now have, the Legends alone has over 1,000 jobs, Cerner with 4,000 jobs, the casino with nearly 1,000 jobs. The jobs that this has brought to our community has been exponential. In fact, our Wyandotte County was listed number 46 out of the 300 largest counties in the nation in job growth, in large part because of the continuing investment and reinvestment. The jobs are big. The other piece from the Kansas City, Kansas perspective is the opportunity to bring more visitors into our destination area, to go to Schlitterbahn, to go to the Legends, to go to soccer games, to go to T-Bones games, to go to NASCAR races, to spend money in the community. And turning those dollars over in the community is what economic development's all about. It's also big for the housing market. These new apartments that are going up, the first new apartments in Wyandotte County in 40 years. And they're at the top of the market in the metro area in terms of rent because people want to live out here. And that economic development is because of all the amenities that we've assembled here now. And so the average Kansas City Kansan is seeing a huge benefit, and we're also seeing the tax revenues that are coming with it and the growth. It's just continuing.
Just to comment, as an investor in a lot of attendance properties, this is really, in very significant way, will be an attendance property with a lot of people in visitation and participation in the activities there. And those have much more substantial economic impact usually than other employment or just static investments.
Rob, at what point did soccer hit the tipping point to where a project like this goes from, oh, that's nice, to, I got to get there and see this?
When they came to Kansas City, Kansas.
Yeah. Well, you know, we always knew that this building was going to give us a shot, right? It was always going to give us the opportunity to get a bunch of non-traditional fans out here, and then it was really the responsibility of the team on the field to try to move the meter and kind of hit that tipping point. And thankfully for us, we've got a brilliant manager and we've got a great team, and things have worked out pretty well. But, you know, it's amazing to me, you just see the amount of sporting logos around Kansas City and the amount of gear, and it's just such a different world from what it used to be for us. It's just a great thing to see, but the stadium really was the tipping point. I mean, the stadium made it happen.
Follow up nationally, because I anticipate you're looking to draw people not just from the Kansas City area,
Right.
but from
That's right.
all over. Nationally, where do you think that tipping point hit to where this becomes a destination for people from all over the country?
Yeah, I mean, I think just the reputation that soccer in Kansas City has begun to develop is pretty incredible. And, you know, I think this whole branding that we're trying to do around being the soccer capital of America, I think it means something. The fact that we're going to have tens of thousands of coaches coming here to do their coaching education for A, B, and C licenses, I think is huge. You know, I think the great thing is, you know, I was talking with Sunil Gulati, the president of the U.S. Soccer Federation, who apologizes for not being able to be here today. And, you know, he basically thinks that an asset like this is going to be huge for them, not only from a coaching and referee education perspective, but also having this sort of asset available for the national team. So I think, you know, I think we just keep trying to push the edge of the envelope here in Kansas City, and I think this asset is going to just be a tremendous assistance in that.
Governor, are the completed projects here in this area on pace toward paying off the STAR bonds? And how much time added does this project adds time to repaying off the STAR bonds?
Yeah, a number of the STAR bonds are ahead of schedule in this area, and I don't know the answer to that second piece. Maybe somebody else here.
Yeah, this will be a different tranche, a different STAR bond. So this is not off the kind of existing revenue stream. This will be done off the increment, so it doesn't push the STAR bonds back at all.
And I need to repeat for all the Kansas City, Kansas folks watching, we will receive our payout on STAR bonds in 2017 when they pay off. We are anticipating that. We are working towards that. And this project, one of the pieces, I know when we have done other projects, it's delayed the payoff of the STAR bonds. This will not. And that's a very important component for our community to be aware of.
My view of it, if you got something working, keep feeding it.
Oh, that's right.
You know, and this is working. So let's keep feeding and let's keep growing in this area. Although, like Rob says, he's saying that this isn't going to extend the life of it, but keep feeding it. And I don't see any reason to pull back from that at all when you see this incredible development here that there's not another one like it in the country.
Two more questions, Amy?
Just a really quick question. We have a lot of little kids in the metro that play soccer. What does this mean for them? I mean, they're going to be excited to hear about this too.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's that aspirational thing, right? I mean, that's what this is going to provide to them. It's going to be, first of all, it's going to be an unbelievable place for them to play. Not only just from a daily rental perspective, but I would anticipate that we'll have youth championships out at the National Training Center, or maybe those championships wind up getting played here in Sporting Park. So I just think that the aspirational opportunities for kids in this community are going to be incredible. I mean, I guess I think of it when the team's in residence. I think the community will all rally around it and going out to training. And as great as it is seeing, a Graham Zusi or a Matt Beasler on the field, when they're walking off the field and they stop and talk to a kid and shake a kid's hand and, sign an autograph for them, those are the things as a kid you remember. That's the experiential stuff that matters. And we're going to have all kinds of opportunities for kids like that in this community.
I think what's going to matter a lot is the coaching increase in quality. Because there's been, my wife and I, we have 5 children and all of them played soccer. But typically the coaching has not been very knowledgeable about soccer. Now some of it has been, but by and large, just not so much. You're going to have world-class people teaching folks how to coach in soccer and how to referee. I think that's really going to scale it up, maybe faster than anything.
Final question? We have 2 more. We'll do and then see.
I mean, so will kids be able to go to this park and watch this U.S. Soccer national team play or practice?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so kids will train out at these fields. They'll, do camps, clinics, tournaments. They'll have the opportunity to go watch the national team when they're there. Absolutely, yeah. This will be an open access facility for people to come see.
Okay, and I'm going to stick this in. What about the play in California, the facilities there?
Will they continue to exist, or yeah, and like I said, January camp, I would guess could very likely would stay out in California.
I would say too, for the kids in Kansas City, Kansas, one of the commitments that Sporting and Cerner made from day one when the stadium was built was to bring fields into the urban area. And we're doing 10 futsal courts. And if you're not familiar with futsal, it's a tennis court, basically a tennis court that's converted to soccer. And it's played on a hard surface, and kids play pickup games, 5-on-5, 3-on-3. It's a much smaller court, and it's good for foot skills. I've been learning about it. Rob could speak about this at length. But to have these scattered throughout our community, because we have a lot of tennis courts right now that aren't being used. We have some that are being used, and we're preserving those. But the ones that aren't being used, they already converted to at Wyandotte High School. And the place is packed with kids waiting in line. And it's branded with the blue for Sporting Kansas City. And they're playing soccer, futsal, which is a smaller ball on a smaller court, and learning the foot skills and getting excited about soccer. And they're packed. If you drove out there tonight, there'd be a line of kids outside of Wyandotte High School playing futsal right now.
Question, then we'll have a photo opportunity available. So, Sam.
Rob, just to clarify, U.S. Soccer has not completely signed on yet, have they? And I guess what are the chances you think that does happen?
No, they have.
They have?
Yeah, they have. Uh-huh.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll stand up and I'll push your chairs back. We'll get a quick photo off.